Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, welcome into a very, very special episode of Degenerate Danger Zone. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and you know we're looking for that free money. I'm your host, Ty B, and today we're joined by Todd Haight from Batavia Downs. They have a ton of great offers for you this weekend and throughout the racing season, so we can't wait to partner with them a little bit to help bring you guys some insight this weekend and throughout the racing season. Todd, how's it going?
Going well. How you doing today?
Oh, it's great. I've been looking at some of these past performance guides, looking at the historical Derby runs, trying to find out, who we're going to pick in these exotics, trying to get, those big tickets. Maybe we'll hit, a pick five at the Derby. You never know what's going to happen. So, Todd, what are some of the great offerings you guys have going on this weekend? I know you're going to have some people there at Batavia Downs, and Western OTB is going to have the greatest stuff.
But it's going to open at least downstairs in our Park Place Event Center to take Derby wagers starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock, advanced wagering, and that will stay open until 6 o'clock at night. And then on Saturday, Derby Day, we're again going to open our Park Place Event Center. So when you're walking through the front doors, just to the left, you'll need to take your temperature. And once you're okay to go through, you'll go right through the ramp, and there'll be high top tables where you can figure out your bets. There'll be betting slips. There'll be free Derby programs, the one-page program. And then after you fill everything out, you can proceed to our betting area. We'll have three tellers there. They can help you. I'll be here to help people make their bets. Unfortunately, probably cost people money like I do every year. Ryan will be here as well. Other people will be here. So if people are intimidated about how to make a wager, what an exact is, we get these questions every year. Then certainly you don't want to. You don't have to be embarrassed or anything like that. That's what we're here to help you. So, and we're here to try to make you money. This is a very interesting race. It's one of the more wide open derbies I've seen in years. We don't have the standout horse like American Pharoah, California Chrome. Those horses you really could not bet against. However, this year we have a favorite that's 2-1, Essential Quality, who I think we can bet against. And that really excites me because I like to make money. I've been playing this game for over 40 years now. And anytime that there's an opportunity to play against a favorite, especially a 2-1 favorite in a 20-horse field, which is ridiculous, that excites me.
Absolutely. We saw lots of small fields last year, lots of loaded, juiced odds, and it wasn't necessarily the most fun if you're just a casual bettor looking to, hit on some quick money, throw in those quick little trifectas and whatnot, and you hit big, on a 20-cent bet, you get that, $100 payout, and then you're living large for the rest of the week. But I saw a lot of great stuff too. You guys are going to be doing with Western OTB. I saw those shirts that you guys were going through. Those look pretty nice.
Absolute OTB tradition, drawings for T-shirts and glasses. Now, they're going to have to do it different this year because of the social distancing. People can't go to the drawing box and fill out slips, but they're going to kind of every fifth person, whatever, has an opportunity to get a T-shirt or glass. We've been doing that for years. And the OTB is open again on Friday at 10 a.m. Advanced wagering right until they close. And then Saturday, Derby Day again, 10 a.m. Those T-shirts and glass will be given away on Saturday. And you can wager at OTB right until post time, which is 6:57. So try to avoid the lines. It gets very busy between 1 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So if you get there at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., you should be okay. Or, of course, we'll talk about it later, but you can always make a wager at BataviaBets.com.
Yep. And the one thing that we have to keep in mind as bettors, it's not like betting on sports. You don't have to get it in early to get a certain line. The line's going to change no matter what. You're betting against each other, not against the house. So that's always something to think about. So get in early if you know what your picks are going to be. I already have my alarm set for tomorrow morning. Can't wait to get over to the OTB on Clinton, one of my favorite spots to hang out. My favorite Derby tradition is on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. I always go into WeChecks. All the old guys are sitting there. They got the horse racing on TV, and I just sit there and I just overhear what they're talking about, what horses they're on, and then I fade them, and then I usually make a couple dollars. But all these favorites lately, Todd, it's been tough. But you brought up a great point about this year's race. Essential Quality, yes, a favorite, and at 2-1, people are going to be all over him. And when you look at the historical numbers for 2-year-old horses who were the champions that year, they don't fare very well in the Derby. And I think it's just 2 of the last 37, if I'm correct, have won the Derby. So the numbers don't look great for Essential Quality coming into this one.
No, I mean, listen, we can talk. There's a lot of pros to bet up the reasons. I mean, he is the reigning 2-year-old champion. He's the heavyweight leader. He's the leader in the clubhouse. Have whatever you want to say about him. He right now is the class of the race. He's bred to go the distance. He's unbeaten. He's never tasted defeat. And he's got a perfect running style for the Derby. He's versatile. If the pace is fast, he can drop back like he did in the Breeders' Cup and come on and win. If the pace is slow, like his last race, the Bluegrass, he can sit just off the pace and win. So from that standpoint, I'm not even sure why we're running the race. However, like you said, yeah, we should just give him the 1.8 million and we'll all go home early and have a few mid juleps. However, from the standpoint you're saying, the 2-year-old champion never wins the Derby. 2 for 37. His speed figures are not much faster this year as a 3-year-old than he did as a 2-year-old. As horses get older, mature, get stronger, you want to see that progression in speed figures. He's not doing that. Okay. His sire Tappet is a premier distance sire. However, no sons of Tappet have won the Kentucky Derby.
Mm-hmm.
His speed figures. Now, again, let's go back to American Pharoah and California Chrome because they were basically the most recent. Those horses were short on the morning line, but they had the best speed figure. He doesn't have the top speed figure. He doesn't have the second best speed figure. He doesn't even have the third best speed figure. So why in the world would we take 2-1 on this horse? I'm not saying he can't win. He's the horse to beat, no question. However, as you said, sports betting, this is a game of value, and we have to go where the value is. And the value this year is betting against Essential Quality, not on him.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And that's why one of the horses I really kind of have gravitated to thus far is Known Agenda. Obviously, you have Todd Pletcher being his trainer is kind of that number one thing started drawing me to him. The win at the Florida Derby. And it seems like he's progressing as a horse, continuing to get better. And like you said, that's kind of what you want to see out of a horse. You want them to start peaking here into the Derby and continuing to build up that stamina to make it through the rest of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, the addition of blinkers on Known Agenda has really turned this horse around. He was always highly regarded. I mean, he's by Curlin. He's very well bred. It took him a while for the light bulb to go off, but his last 2 races were good. I will tell you, the only knock, and it's not really the first thing most people would say, oh, he's got the one post. Well, Churchill Downs last year purchased a 20-horse starting gate. Before, they used to have 2 different gates. They had the main gate and the auxiliary gate. And the auxiliary gate, because there was a gap between the 14 and 15 horse, would push the one horse very close to the rail. It's not the case anymore. So I'm not as worried about post 1 as other years when post 1 with no horses won from post 1 since 1986. However, I'm not sure how good the horses were in Florida this year. Normally, we would see Florida Derby and we'd say that horse is very competitive. The horses in Florida weren't that good this winter, so I'm not sure. I'm not saying he can't win, obviously, but I don't give the Florida Derby as much credit this year as I have in previous years.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm there with you on that. I like the progression. I think I'm going to be using him in some of my exotics at least. But a horse I see you're high on, the 15 Rock Your World, an interesting draw being put right next to Essential Quality, and at 5-1 with Joel Rosario riding him. I think that's a great horse to include in some of your exotics.
Well, he does have the best speed figure, and there again, can a horse win with just 3 lifetime starts? Only Justify has been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Justify a Triple Crown winner. I'm not ready to call Rock Your World a Triple Crown winner yet. However, when you see a horse that sets those kind of fractions, 22 and 2, 46 in a race that's a mile and 1/8. Those are sprint fractions. And normally when a horse would do that, they would get extremely tired coming down the stretch. He didn't get tired. He actually pulled away and won by 5 lengths. So I think if we can get 5 or 6-1 on this horse, and if he can make the lead, now again, he raced his first 2 races on turf, in one race on dirt, and he went to the front. So he's never had dirt in his face, and we don't know what happens if someone else goes to the front and he has to sit. But if he can make the lead based on his last race, and if he duplicates it, he's the horse to beat. And if you can get 5 or 6 to 1 on this horse, I think he's a very good bet.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you talk about getting value, you get the top speed guy at a 5 to 6 to 1. You probably have to take it just for the slight chance that they do pull away early and just run away with no one able to cut him down. But there are some horses in this race who are a bit more of stalkers, if you will. They're gonna,
Yeah,
trail off the lead a few horses and wait until that last turn, get into that last stretch, and really, try to hammer it home.
yeah, no doubt about it. The preferred running style over the last 10 years at least has been that stalking position where we're not seeing horses come from China way back in the pack. We're not seeing horses go wire to wire like Winning Colors did in the late 80s. You want to be within 2-3 lengths of the lead, and that's because in a 20 horse field there's so much traffic in the back of that pack, and who knows who's going to get stopped. These horses are carrying a lot of weight, 126 pounds. You certainly don't want to have to stop and start. It's very hard to do. So, you take a horse like Hot Rod Charlie, another horse, he's training extremely well. He's got a versatile running style. His race in the Louisiana Derby was huge. If he duplicates that race, he may win. He did lose Joe Rosario, but what happened there was Joe Rosario was committed to another Bob Baffert horse, Concert Tour, who's going to wait for the Preakness. So Flavien Prat, a French jockey, is going to pick up the mount. We'll see how he does on the horse. He's never ridden him, but he's got that stalking type where he doesn't need to be in front. He can sit just off it. If somebody tries to go head and head early with Rock Your World, Hot Rod Charlie may get the jump on Essential Quality. And here's another horse, 8 to 1. He may even go off higher than that. Terrific value in this year's race.
And another one you can't count out, I think, is the 8 horse Medina Spirit. You see Bob Baffert's name, and you have to immediately, include him in your research and to see whether or not you want to include him in your picks, because we've seen Bob Baffert do it before and really shock the world. Can he do it again, though?
Isn't that something? He's already won 6 of these derbies. A legendary trainer, knows how to get one ready for the big race, knows how to keep horses together for 3 races in 5 weeks. I will tell you, there's a handicap and angle that says you want to take horses coming out of the best races, and Medina Spirit is coming out of the best races. He finished second in both those races. Last time out in the Santa Anita Derby, the inside horses had the advantage. He was 3 wide the whole trip. Bob has been very quiet during this leading up to the Kentucky Derby. Normally he does all these interviews. He hasn't said very little, and I think he's going to do a lot of talking on Saturday. And again, 15 to 1 on Bob Baffert. You absolutely have to include that horse.
Oh yeah, especially if you're looking at exotics. Like, you get that 15 to 1 up there, you're looking at a very nice payday, even if it's a favorite hitting in at that 1 position. And you brought this up earlier when we started. Like, don't feel like you're, in too deep of a water when you're trying to make these horse bets, because it's very easy if you just talk to someone who's experienced, whether it's Todd, Ryan, or anyone there at Batavia Downs, OTB. Everyone will help you out. You can DM me if you need whatever you want. We'll be all over it, because those are some of my favorite things to do, is looking at, what 3 to 5 horses can I include there in a trifecta where, you have some good value, you have some favorites, and I'm so ready to go lock it in tomorrow. I want to give out all my picks now, but I feel like I should hold those a little closer to the vest until tomorrow. But Todd, what are you leaning for on race day come Saturday?
Well, again, I'm gonna spread out, because when you try to buck the favorite, especially a 2 to 1 shot in the 20 horse field, you can use multiple horses on top. The horses I'm going to use on top obviously are the 15 Rock Your World. I'm going to use the 8 Medina Spirit, and I'm going to use the other long shot here that escapes me now. What was the other one? The 9 Hot Rod Charlie. I'm going to use those 3 horses to win, and I'm going to use multiple horses behind in the exact and try. I'm going to use Known Agenda. I'm going to use Sainthood. Now here's a 50 to 1 shot. And I got to tell you, he should have won his last race. He had all kind of trouble. And the only reason he didn't win is because he got himself jammed up. After the race, he flew. Now, on paper, he can't win. He's much too slow. However, he's a Todd Fletcher horse. He's bred for the distance. Corey Lannery is the new Kelvin Burrell at Churchill Downs. He rides Churchill as good as anyone. And I don't mind throwing a horse in underneath at a gigantic price. That's Sainthood. Other horses I'm going to use, there's a little buzz around the racetrack, Churchill Downs, on Obesos. Now, if you were to look at him, you wouldn't bet on him. He's just a little scrawny thing, but he can run. And he did close in the Louisiana Derby. He was the only horse in the race to make up any ground. And his speed figures, you were talking about progression, his speed figures every race are getting better. And what's interesting about this, and you seldom ever see this, as the races get longer, he's running faster. And he's a son of Orb. Orb won the Kentucky Derby in, I think, around 2013. And he's 20-1 on the morning line. I have to tell you, these odds are just insane. Number 7, Mandalone, another of the buzz horses. Why? Because he's been training as good as any horse in the field. And we've seen in recent years when they train well at Churchill, they usually race well at Churchill. So I'm going to use the 7 Mandaloon in my exactas. I'm using the 8 and the 9. The final buzz horse that I'm going to give you is the 10 Midnight Berman. Picks up Mike Smith. You know, he's called Money Mike for a reason. He's fabulous in these big races. And here's another horse. He's very consistent. His speed figures put him in the mix. And he could just get an incredible trip with Mike Smith at 20-1. There is so much value in this race. This reminds me of a year, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when OTB actually paid out more than we took in. Now, we're not bookmakers, so it doesn't cost us anything. But to me, your followers, your listeners, they can get lucky and win a lot of money this year.
Absolutely. That's why I love that we have the full 20 horse field this year, because last year, like I said before, where you get some of these races where you're getting 6, 7, 8 horses, it's very tough to find value. And especially when some of these horses are just kind of being thrown in there because other ones were all pulling out.
Right.
And, you know, they weren't up to quality, up to par, and you're pretty much left with the same 4. And it's like, how do I put them in the right order? Because you don't want to be really mixing and choosing at that point, putting in too many options, because your chances of coming out with an actual profit are very low. But this year, with the amount of horses in there, it's a great chance to take a couple lottery tickets, basically. And if you want to go get those in, you know, starting tomorrow, 10 a.m. at OTB, you can go do that across the region. You can get over to Batavia Downs, or you could use BataviaBets.com. I think you said you get a free $25 for $100 deposit.
Right. Once you wager $100, you can wager the whole 100 on the Kentucky Derby. Whatever you want to do, you will put an extra $25 in your account. That's for new users only, not for current users, but for new users. And what's nice about Batavia Bets, and no other advanced deposit wagering company can say this, is if you win at Batavia Bets, you don't have to wait 3 or 5 days to get that check or see the money in your checking account. You just go to any off-track betting, fill out a withdrawal slip, and we'll pay you immediately. And I don't know about you, when I win, not that often, but once in a while I do, I want to get paid. So that's the way you get paid, BataviaBets.com.
No, absolutely. There's something about that where, like, we've been, you know, having this debate for the last few years about mobile betting and all that. Yeah, it'll be nice to see, you know, the numbers go into there, but there's something about, you know, getting the money paid out to you after winning that's just so special. And you can still do that, like he said, with BataviaBets.com. Make sure you get over there, or to any of the OTBs across the region. They have tons of great promotions throughout the weekend, and we're going to be continuing to do more work with Batavia Downs and Western OTB throughout the racing season. A huge Triple Crown year, plus live racing at Batavia Downs as well. And you all know about Saratoga. Maybe I'll even make a trip out there and get a nice and little spiffy out there, grab a hat and, you know, whatever else, and figure it out. Go make everyone some free money. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you, Todd, for joining us, bringing us some great insight on the Derby. We cannot wait to, you know, put it to use. I'm going to be sharing this with everyone. We're going to be promoting it throughout the weekend. And again, you know, thank you for joining us, Todd.
Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. All right. So everyone, make sure you get out there, go to OTB, go to Batavia Downs, BataviaBets.com, whatever you got to do, lock in your bets for the Derby. Go get that free money. Good night now.